So, folks, you may have remembered, I mean, we've done segments about this. It's been all over Twitter. Candace Owens has been taking it upon herself to investigate the mysterious circumstances surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirk, going as far as to, investigate herself through whatever sources she can gather, opening up a tip line, and of course, debunking the quite easily debunkable official story, quote unquote, that we're getting from the government, which is going unchallenged almost everywhere except on her show. And so she's been making a lot of claims lately. We covered them last week. And, one of the things that we said as she was telling these stories about evidence she had is that we can't really speak to the validity of the evidence without seeing it, but we kind of trust that she's telling the truth because it just seems kind of incredible that she would go out on a limb like this if she didn't have receipts to back it up. But, of course, we said that we have to take this for what it's worth so long as, no documentation comes in. And a lot of people, as the days went on, started taking premature victory laps about how, hey, Candace Owens hasn't produced any of this evidence that she says she has. And all the Candace Owens stands are being real quiet right now and blah, blah, blah. And it started giving me second thoughts for a moment. But just on Wall Street, there's a what do they call it? What is the inverse Kramer? What do they call that thing? Like an automatic portfolio thing?
An ETF.
An ETF. That's right. I was thinking NFT, but that's not what an NFT is. An ETF.
No.
There's an ETF on Wall Street called the inverse Kramer, where whatever his name is John Kramer or Jim Kramer.
Whatever Jim Kramer says, you invest in the opposite. And it does great. I think last year it outperformed the Pelosi tracker, which is one of the best ETFs. You just buy whatever Pelosi buys.
Exactly. So just like on Wall Street, there's the inverse Kramer. In this space, we have something called the inverse Vanguard, where if the Vanguard says something,
very well known. I made a lot of money off that.
you bet on the opposite, and that's generally considered a pretty good bet. So the Vanguard guys on October 5th tweet out, remember that week everyone on YouTube was pretending Candace Owens was a serious authority on the Kirk killing until every last bit of what she was saying was debunked, so they just moved on without corrections? Good times. All right, so as soon as I saw that, I said, all right, evidence must be forthcoming. And sure enough, it was. So last night, Candace Owens shared a group chat with Josh Hammer, Rob McCoy, and 6 other TPUSA affiliates where Charlie Kirk explicitly said he had no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause just 48 hours before he was assassinated. So here's Candace Owens bringing what I imagine is the first of many receipts, but this is a pretty serious one. So let's take a look at the video.
Knew that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
So Rob McCoy, we'll get into that in a moment once the video's done. But he's a pro-Israel pastor. He's a friend of Charlie Kirk's.
Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause.
Wow. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. This was two days before he was killed.
And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay? So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell over the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that? There's also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody made that move to at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through? That registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that. It's suspicious to me. It makes me think that in the same way that Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors might be running you to correct the ship and to focus yourselves on eulogizing Charlie as something and someone that never once flinched, never once for a single second doubted the Israeli cause.
Yep. That is very suspicious, I will say. I think she is 100% right about that. So here are the texts once again. Just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause.
I went out to a restaurant with these donors. I was so embarrassed. They tipped 7%.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We can't have this.
Never again.
A terrible look for the organization. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that is very, very damning stuff. Like, this is now, as far as I could tell, circumstantial evidence. It's not proof. You know, now a lot of the Zionists are moving the goalposts. Well, this proves nothing. Nobody said it proved anything. It's not proof. It's not physical evidence. It's circumstantial evidence. And what it does is it corroborates yet again reporting not just from Candace Owens, but from people like Max Blumenthal, who reported that this relationship had been strained dating back to, the midsummer. And so, yeah, this validates so much of what she said. And this is why I felt like we should report on it at the time she said it, because even though we had no receipts at the time, it just seemed impossible to me that she would risk her credibility in that way. I don't know Candace Owens, obviously. I don't know much about Candace Owens. I haven't followed her career very closely up until the last year or so. And so I obviously could not speak to her character, even if I wanted to. But regardless of any speculation on that front, in terms of who she is, the kind of person she is, you could tell from watching someone like her with the following she has and just the way of presenting herself that she's a very serious business person. You know, she seems to be on her game. She seems to take tremendous care in maintaining a reputation and building a brand. To go out on a limb with, I won't say accusations, but with allegations that such evidence exists without knowing what you're talking about, without having it, knowing what it is, and knowing that it is as strong and direct as you're billing it.
Yeah, there's only room for one Alex Jones.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, this is the thing. It's funny you mentioned that, because like there are a lot of topics like 9/11, like the Epstein files, that are so shrouded in mystery that, yeah, you can kind of get away with fudging a few details around the edges because we're so unlikely to know the entire story that you're not really going to get called out or caught in a lie if you fudge a thing or two here at the periphery of the issue. That's not what this is.
They got a whole lab where they got frogs fucking garter snakes, and now they're in the public schools.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could get away with that shit if the issue is so shrouded in mystery, right? But this is not that issue. She's making a very direct, simple claim about something that just happened, about a cataclysmic event that everybody is focused on. You can't make a claim like that if you don't have the receipts to back it up without ruining your reputation forever. Like if she didn't have these messages, this whole thing would have been a career ender. And I knew enough about Candace Owens to know that she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't set herself up for that kind of embarrassment in that way. She just wouldn't. So it just seemed kind of impossible to me that she was lying, or that she was, overselling, right? Because even if you have something, you may not have what you say you have. It seemed very unlikely that was the case. It always seemed far more likely that she actually had something, and she has something. She has something. The fact that he says, leaving me no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause, on a text chain with 9 people on it. That means a lot of people knew that's what he said. And don't forget, Utah Valley University, this was the first stop on his campus tour, which means obviously this issue is going to come up, right? Almost every day, if not every day on this campus tour. So if he's deciding, you know what, I'm abandoning the pro-Israel cause and I'm going on tour, well, once he starts talking the way Candace is talking, right? Or even if he doesn't go there right away, if he starts out the way Tucker is talking, that is extremely dangerous to the future of the conservative movement if you are determined to keep Zionism an acceptable part of conservative orthodoxy. Like Charlie Kirk was that influential. If he was going to turning point against Israel, that is a major threat to support for Israel inside the United States, because Democrats have already jumped ship. You talk about single-digit support for Israel now among Democrats. Independents, 30-something? Republicans, that's really the last frontier, and most young Republicans were already turning away from Israel. So it was extremely, I think, that is pretty seismic for him to say that I'm abandoning the pro-Israel cause. And on the first stop on the tour, before he could ever say it out loud to anyone, before he could ever say it in public to anyone, he's gone. That is now very suspicious. I'm sorry. This is now very suspicious because we actually have evidence now. It's not proof. Mm-hmm. It's not physical evidence, but it is compelling circumstantial evidence that definitely piques my curiosity.
Yeah, well, you're looking at means, motive, and opportunity. As far as means go, I think it's pretty inarguable that Israel, of any country on earth today, including the United States, has most openly and consistently used political assassination as a means of statecraft. I mean, there was an entire movie about it, mainstream Hollywood movie, Munich, whose tone was really about the moral conundrum of having to do this. It certainly wasn't questioning it. It was very sympathetic to the Israelis being put in a position where what else are we supposed to do to maintain our apartheid state? But of course, it doesn't interrogate that part of it. So yeah, like the Israelis assassinate people quite blatantly and quite openly. So you're talking about a state that hasn't even had the pretense of not doing political assassination, that has had that in its toolkit from the beginning and even before the beginning of its existence. It always did political assassination. The Zionist movement always did political assassination. So that means you're talking about a group that's had almost a century of practice at assassinating people. So they certainly have the means. Motive? Well, you just saw it. Opportunity? This whole country is an open opportunity for Israelis to do whatever the fuck they want. We've seen that pretty clearly. So yeah, does that prove it? No. It strongly suggests it particularly when you combine it with the way that our own FBI has clearly been covering up what actually happened. I saw somebody actually shared that, what Candace shared, and the supposed Tyler Robinson exchange with his boyfriend, said, which of these texts seems more believable to you?
Oh, well, we'll get to that. We will get to that part of it. I just do want to flesh out a little bit. So Rob McCoy, who she mentioned, was a pastor, a pro-Israel pastor, was Charlie Kirk's friend. So he posted this on the 16th, so 6 days after Kirk was killed. Charlie Kirk was my friend, and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, though he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comments I offer regarding Candace is this. I only wish that at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie that he was to her.
That's
he would
cute.
never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy had been hers. A friend loves at all times. No, this is a tactic now, and this was almost a month ago.
I like the way that's very cute.
Yeah, the honorable thing to do is to just adopt the party line and insist that this was a lone wolf actor with a furry trans boyfriend or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. That's the honorable thing to do. So Ryan Matta, he's a content creator. He's been following this for a while. I want to just show you his take on this. So let's take a look.
On this strategy, in case you're getting gaslit by some propagandists from Israel that are paid by AIPAC, I mean with your tax dollars. Let me break down the brilliance of this strategy that we've watched Candace play out over the last couple of weeks. So last week, Candace tells us that she's got intel that Charlie Kirk cut ties completely with Israel. It was 48 hours before his assassination. He contacted the top Jewish donors at Turning Point, and he said that he had no choice but to completely cut ties with Israel 100%. Turning Point was going to completely take a new angle. He was bringing Tucker to his event, and then he also wanted to bring Candace to that event. Now, people are complaining that she blocked out the names. Let me explain how brilliant this is. Number one, last week was brilliant because by Turning Point not responding, we all knew that Candace had it right. Because if they thought that she was lying in any way, shape, or form, you've seen all the relentless attacks about absolutely nothing. They fabricate shit and try to make it up like Candace is saying something, and they go and attack her. She put out that one, they didn't say shit, okay? Now let me show you these tweets. Okay, so you want to see, this is Charlie Kirk doubling down. This is how obviously pissed off he was. So this is in a group chat with a bunch of people. There's a rabbi in here, Charlie Kirk's fake pastor, Josh Hammer. That's who we know so far. So Charlie Kirk says, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. And he goes, I'm thinking of inviting Candace. And this person goes, ugh. Charlie Kirk goes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and I will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Boom. He's telling them right here. He's done. Done with Israel, done with their shit. And then this person, grayed out name, goes, please don't invite Candace. That might feel like good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That's the nasty free will thing that God bestowed upon us to make life frustrating at times. After the dust settles a bit, maybe. So look at this, it's such a crazy shit. Okay, this is brilliant because now they know who they are, right? But we don't. So now, while Candace sits on these names, it's going to be very interesting to see how these people respond. And it's their behavior that we're looking for. Something's not adding up. I don't know what it is, but Candace is constantly keeping pressure on the FBI. She's constantly keeping pressure on Turning Point. And when you keep pressure on organizations like this, what do? They make mistakes. And that's the name of the game. Candace is playing chess. Now, you guys might disagree with me. You guys might not like Candace, but so far, she's now brought the receipts. She's delivered on exactly what she claimed. And the thing you have to think about, like, if Candace were to be lying about this and she didn't have rock solid evidence, if she didn't have those receipts when she made those claims, and they would have called her bluff on that, that one claim right there would have been big enough to kind of blow and discredit everything that she's done. Charlie Kirk was her boy, and she seems to be the only one, and I mean the only one in conservative media. Where's Bannon? Bannon and Kirk were supposed to be boys like this. They came up together. And then what about Jack Posobiec? Where's Jack Posobiec? The Benny Johnsons. That's what I keep pointing out. Like, these guys, I'm not saying that they involved. I'm saying that they aren't doing shit, right? Which you might as well be abating and abetting the covering up of the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's really that simple. At this point, if you're not going hard, you're not questioning this narrative and the slop that our government's feeding us, shame on you. Like, you don't deserve any respect. You don't deserve for us to consume your content. You're just a grifter. You're just a paid influencer shill that benefits from being close to the president, and you don't want to burn any bridges because of the access that you're getting. Prove me wrong.
Boom.
Exactly. Well, that's
exactly.
Like where are his other friends on this? Like where are these people? Because these people,
and it's so transparent. It's so transparent. It's one of the worst. It's maybe the worst government cover up I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Like it's the most obvious cover up you've ever seen, and you have his friends here who are just kind of towing the party line because Daddy says it's left violence, so we have to say it's left violence because that's the easy road to hoe. And Candace Owens has not gone down that road. Tucker Carlson has not gone down that road. Now, no one has taken it upon themselves to investigate this the way she has as a friend of his. But yeah, of course, you have to ask questions like and like what he said is true. It's not that they're involved. It's that they're taking the easy way out because it's not worth burning the president. It's not worth burning people, whereas Charlie Kirk, and this is the irony, Charlie Kirk was a friend of theirs, obviously knew he was burning people. And we know he was talking about how he was afraid of these people. So Charlie Kirk's talking about how he's afraid of these people if he crosses them. He crosses them, he gets shot, and Candace Owens is the only person in conservative media who seems to want to get to the bottom of this, who's still talking about this as if it's an open question who was behind this and how. Yeah, no, this is pretty bad. My thoughts. So this is MJ Truth Ultra. This is really bad. If true, it screams of motive. But first, here's a few things we should understand. This message, judging by its format, was written on a private Telegram chat 100%. I've seen many times when scammers have spelled out my name pretending to be me, and you'd never be able to tell it wasn't me without seeing the actual handle of that account. Not saying these messages aren't authentic, but it would prove they are 100% authentic by providing the handle of Charlie's account. More on that in a moment. They are authentic, by the way. These messages have been confirmed real. So I don't want to bury the lead too much. So for now, I'm taking Candace's word for it, which means someone in that group chat released those internal messages to her. Also, TPUSA has a lot of explaining to do and can right now say these messages are either authentic or not. This is 100% motive. So Uncensored says, all right, if what Candace posted is true, I'm happy to eat crow. Israel killed him. Yeah, there are a lot of people now who are saying, wow, this is a surprise. Evan Kilgore, Zionist, Candace Owens never brings the receipts about Charlie Kirk and is embarrassing herself. Candace Owens, boom. There you go. There are the receipts. Clint Russell says, leaving no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. 48 hours later, gone. Look, if you want to ignore this as a possible motive, feel free. I cannot. If the FBI narrative were even remotely coherent, I might dismiss it, but it isn't, so I won't. Yeah, that's the other thing. Weighing this against what? Against a story that makes absolutely zero sense to anybody. Chris Minahan says, if these texts are legit, it's huge. Israel agent Rabbi Pisak Walicki, I like calling him PSAC, whether that's his name or not. and Josh Hammer, who's a conservative
it would
writer.
Be Pesach.
Yeah, but I like PSAC. Yeah. PSAC Walicki and Josh Hammer have both said they gave Charlie Kirk near daily Hasbara coaching on a private group chat and went all over the media after Kirk's death to deny the claim he had any falling out with Israel. Exactly. That's the thing. They've lied about this every step of the way. Neither mentioned these comments, which are highly relevant if true, and neither revealed the full list of players in the chat. That's right. So Josh Hammer, who's a conservative writer, I think he's an author. I think he has a book out about Israel. They were on this chat. So anybody who denies that there was tension between Charlie Kirk and Jewish donors about Israel who was on this chat is now a proven liar. Just a proven liar. Speaking of which, Max Blumenthal tweets out, I reported that a small group of Israel lobbyists, including Josh Hammer, Bill Ackman, Sean McGuire, and Pisak Walicki, were in a chat with Charlie during his last days. Was Ackman in the explosive chat revealed here by Candace Owens? And if so, why is he covering this up? That's a good question. Was Bill Ackman part of this chat? There were 9 people. Candace apparently knows all of them. She hasn't released all of the names yet. I think she's doing this as a slow drip just to kind of keep this front of mind for everybody, right? But yes, that is a very good question. So, of course, Evan Kilgore, holy shit, Candace Owens just shared a screenshot of a group chat where Charlie Kirk explicitly said he was leaving the pro-Israel cause just 48 hours before he was assassinated. Rob McCoy, Josh Hammer, and 6 others were also in the chat. Candace brought the receipts. You know who he got retweeted by? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Gets quote tweeted by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Hello.
Yeah, you know who else got retweeted by Marjorie Taylor Greene? Gen X Girl.
Gen X Girl. That's right. Shout out to Gen X Girl for doing a piece about how Israel propagandizes conservatives into supporting them. So Marjorie Taylor Greene amplifying that tweet. So that is terrific to see. Now this was this was common in certain circles, right? The questioning the authenticity of the text messages, because what a lot of pro-Israel people pointed to was, well, you guys questioned the validity of the FBI text message, so why should we take this seriously as being real? So the Misfit Patriot says, I will give Candace every single shekel Israel has paid me for my posts if she can prove those text messages are real. Well, again, just like there's an inverse Vanguard, there may be an inverse Misfit Patriot as well, because pretty soon after that, boom, took less than 24 hours, pay up, fatty. So here is, one of Charlie Kirk's friends. I forget this guy's name. He's now heading things up over there. I forget what. Does anybody in the chat remember this guy's name? I call him the Juan Guaido of Turning Point USA. He issued a statement about these messages, confirming that, in fact, they are real.
To address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there.
Oh, I'm excited about it. They're authentic, and I'm really glad that it came out. So there he is, confirming once again, these are authentic. One more time.
Because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there.
I'm really excited that the truth is out there. I'm glad that those text messages came to light. That's like when a detective knocks on your door. I'm really glad you found that lock of hair under my passenger side tire. I'm really glad you found that. I've been excited to talk about that with you. So thank you. Why don't you come on in? I'll make you a pot of coffee. Right? So there he is. Authenticating that those texts are real. So that was, one sort of question that people had was, okay, are these real or are these fabricated? And I trusted that they were real for the same reason that I trusted that Candace had receipts in the first place, which is that it's simply too big a chance to take. It's too big a gamble to take. If you are talking the way she's been talking for the past couple weeks and you don't have the receipts to back it up, that is a career ender. It is a career ender. That is a reputation killer. And Candace Owens, whatever you think of her, seems very protective of her reputation, to the point where I never believed there was a chance in hell that she would go out on a limb like that if she did not have the receipts to back up what she was talking about. I never believed that for a second.
Please clap.